Greetings, everyone, and welcome to our first episode of One Sheet of Family for August. I'm your host, Mr. Herder. Joining me tonight is one of our co-hosts, Rick, and
was good.
And we're going to be in for most likely a short episode, as there's not a lot to discuss, but we got some pretty big topics to discuss, so let's waste no time and start with Scarlet and Violet, as there are some distributions going on right now. First up is a shiny Grimmsnarl that will be distributed until the 18th, and I will put the code on screen in post as well. I'm not going to bother with non-voice because it's been out for a while. And then a dark Terra type Charizard is also being distributed until the end of this month. And I'll put that code on screen right now. Alright, and moving on from that, as the latest 7-star raid event is on its second round with normal Terra type Rillaboom. So by the time this episode comes out, you only have a few more hours to defeat that gorilla. I have yet to do that, but
I haven't even touched that.
Yeah, I've been dabbling in with Scarlet Violet here and there. I still need to complete the Pokédex and Violet. Oops. Like, the most I've been doing is just the occasional 6-star raid, and I kind of flexed the shiny earlier this week. Alright. Let's move on to the anime. We have a lot of Horizons to catch up on, but I don't think we have time for that this week. Still waiting on subs for episode 16 to come out, so we won't be discussing that tonight. But we got some dub info for Horizons during San Diego Comic-Con, as Pokemon did put out a little sneak peek for the first episode of the dub. And, however, no release date for the Horizons dub has been provided. And I imagine that we're probably going to be waiting until, like, at least December for the first batch of Horizons episodes for the dub, which kind of sucks. And then, the English dub for NPM, to be a Pokemon Master, is coming to Netflix on September 8th. That sounds like a random date, but this actually has significance, as that's the same day that the dub for the anime started in North America 25 years ago. So it's kind of poetic, actually, that Ash's final episodes for the dub are airing this on the same day that many people were introduced to him. So that covers all of the anime stuff. And let's get to the big ones. Starting things off, a few weeks ago, we finally got Pokémon Sleep. So, what are our thoughts on this game?
I honestly think it's like a really cool app that Nintendo and Game Freak put up, and like the developers. I don't know who developed the game.
Sleep Button actually developed this. Who are actually the same developers that made Magikarp Jump.
Oh. That's really interesting. I didn't even know that.
I keep forgetting that this is the same company that made that. But because I
didn't, you're not gonna like think about that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Plus, I didn't play a lot of Magikarp Jump, so who do I know?
Yeah, I didn't even play that game either. That's why I didn't know. But yeah, honestly, I think it's really a really cool idea that they put up. You know, like you like kind of like track your sleep, and then like you get like Pokemon, like you catch them all in your sleep, like supposedly. I think it's a really cool idea. Like, I think it works really well for like people who are like trying to get back on their sleep schedule and stuff like that. Like me, for example, like I had like really bad like sleep, and like now it's like you're kind of like motivated to kind of like sleep a little bit early, just so you get like rewards and like better Pokemon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But overall, like I think it's like really good. I think it's like a really good idea that you put up, and it's working really well. I thought like. You know, like I had like a lot of difficulties and stuff like that. Like one of the difficulties I had was I got a Chikorita. I befriended the Chikorita, and then next thing you know, it just disappeared from my box.
Oh my god!
They took away my Chikorita.
Are you sure you didn't accidentally transfer it to the professor?
No, I don't think that was the case, because I remember I even put on my team, and they just stole it from me. Hashtag justice for Chikorita.
Oh my god, the saddest story of all. But yeah, like you said, I do think that this is a really interesting idea for a mobile game, because it's much slower paced than your typical mobile game, which has fast paced, bite sized action. And like this also has bite sized gameplay. Like you can spend no more than like 5 minutes in throughout the day. Like it's really meant to be played the most in the morning after you wake up. And it's a really different idea that I haven't seen from any other mobile game. Like it encourages you to get better sleep and it rewards you for doing so. And I think that's kind of neat in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a really clever idea if you think about it.
Yeah, and but after playing it, I can understand why this game took so long to come out because supposedly this game took like 5 years to be fully developed. And we've considered that we first heard about it in like 2019. That tracks.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised it took that long to like be produced, you know, because there's like a lot of things that you gotta consider, like very much a lot of detail that you can't miss.
Especially when it comes to like the sleep tracking, like that's gotta be you gotta try to make that as accurate as possible, I imagine.
Yeah, you gotta like test it, like run a lot of tests to like make sure it's like working all right and stuff like that. Because like how you're gonna like pick up like the sleep like actually like very accurately.
Exactly. Same goes with the Go Plus Plus as well, which I still think is one of the worst names I've heard for a Nintendo product. But I digress.
Yeah, it's it's a fun name to be honest. Pokemon Go Plus Plus.
Yeah, like it's grown on me. I still don't like it that much. But I think the device itself it's pretty good, but I don't know if it's $55 good. Like I've had it.
Yeah, I think that price is a little bit steep.
Yeah, it's a little steep for what you're getting. Like I think it's good, but I would not buy this just for Pokemon Go. I think there are plenty of other devices compatible with Pokemon Go that you can get for significantly cheaper. Like, if I were to, like, if you're gonna buy it, you already know that you're gonna use it for not just Pokemon Go, but also Pokemon Sleep, which is where most of your time is gonna be used with it.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been using to track my sleep for Pokemon Sleep because I do not trust myself with my phone on my bed at night. And so
yeah, I do that, and it's like sometimes it's kind of tricky because I put it like right on the edge of the bed, and then like next thing you know, my phone falls, and then it doesn't track any sleep.
Yeah, like that's the main issue. That's the main worry that I have. Like I'm worried of knock it over, might crack the screen, or wake myself up in the middle of the night. And plus, I use a wireless charger, and they recommend that you charge your phone while tracking your sleep. And so, like, and so I use a wireless charger, like I said, and as my wire charger is being occupied by my iPad, well, I have 2 wire chargers, so I really have no excuse. But
That's fair.
like the only thing that I'd be missing out on by using the Go Plus Plus instead of using my phone is being able to use a microphone to record my sleep, because the Go Plus Plus is missing the microphone for some reason.
It doesn't have one?
No, it does not.
Oh, I thought like is it like yours or is it like the Plus Plus that doesn't have like a microphone built in?
The Go Plus Plus is lacking a microphone. I feel like that was a bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's a missed opportunity. They should put like a microphone there.
Yeah, like I feel like there probably could have been enough space on the device, but that's not really a non-issue for me because like the rest of the device works as it should.
Yeah, that's really fair to me.
For the most part. Like I had this weird thing that it did where it would try to start sleep tracking in the middle of the afternoon because I would hear a buzz from it and then the blue light turns on to start sleep tracking. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? So
Oh my god.
So I would check the settings within Pokemon Sleep, and turns out that the sleep reminder for the Go Plus Plus for some reason 12 hours apart from my set bedtime, which was 1:30 p.m. So
what the hell?
I don't know what was going on with that. So I set it to the correct time, and so far it hasn't exhibited that issue. So I guess problem solved.
Yeah, I kind of ran into an issue where I mentioned it before. Like like my game was like alerting me to go to sleep at like 11 a.m. and I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
wait, what's going on? Why are you telling me to go to sleep now? If I had my sleep set to 11:30 p.m. and then like all of a sudden it just went back to normal.
That's funny. But yeah, I will say the Go Plus Plus, like, it is definitely the largest of the Pokemon Go Plus devices, but I do think it's one of the easier ones to carry around. Like, it's certainly easier than the Pokeball Plus that they released for Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. And I think it's because that was more like a ball. Instead, this one's a lot flatter and much thinner. So it's a lot easier to slip in and out of my pocket.
Yeah.
But I will say the original Go Plus is the easiest to carry around because not only is it the physically smallest, but you can also wear it on your wrist, which you can't do with the Go Plus Plus. And so I personally feel like they probably should have released it as a wearable. Because I feel like, I don't know how much more accurate it would be to wear something on your wrist as opposed to putting it next to your pillow to track your sleep, but I feel like, it'd be a lot, I don't know, it would be a lot simpler and more comfortable to wear it like that just to wear it because like I'd be so worried about rolling over and pressing the button to turn off sleep tracking in the middle of the night. Fortunately, that hasn't happened yet, but this is completely unrelated to the Go Plus Plus issues. But I had one morning where I woke up like super early in the morning and my delusional self turned off the sleep tracking around like a little after 8 a.m. and then went back to sleep.
Oh my god.
And like when I woke up, I was like, wait, did I turn off sleep tracking? And so I opened the app and turns out I did.
You lost a good amount of hours there.
Yeah, so I got a lower sleep score than I otherwise would have gotten. So I will say, the way that it measures your sleep it's interesting, and I think the idea of the sleep score system is good because then it can like incentivize and encourage you to get better sleep. And there are weekly missions that you can try to complete, like feeding your Snorlax a certain amount of berries, or stick it to your bedtime after a certain amount of times, which I've done only once in the 3 weeks that the game's been out.
Impossible challenge.
Like, I have my bedtime set for 1:30 a.m. I have not stuck to it most of the time.
Oh my god.
Like, I've only done it once, and it was because I had a friend staying over Wednesday night, and we were both quite tired, so we went to bed around like 1, and turns out that wasn't and when I got my sleep data in the morning, turns out the time that it said I fell asleep was at 1:30, so I managed to actually qualify for being counted for sticking to your bedtime mission for that one time.
First time in your life.
And like when I woke up, it said that I slept for almost 8.5 hours. I didn't feel like I slept at all that night. So
yeah, today, like I said, like I got a score of 99, which is pretty funny. I was one away from 100, and it didn't feel like I got like a full night's sleep for some reason.
Yeah, which is why I feel like, which goes back to me feeling like the Go Plus Plus should have been like a wearable. Or if not that, then I feel like at some point, Pokemon should probably look into releasing a smartwatch companion app for Pokemon Sleep, so that it could be used so that you can use Pokemon Sleep with like an Apple Watch, for example.
Yeah, I was gonna make that like either they like put it on the smartwatch, or you can like install the app, or like they make like a sort of like a gadget where like you wear it around your wrist, so like it like tracks your sleep and also like track your sleep, but you can also like check your heart rate and stuff like that, and give more information like about your sleep and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I feel like a smartwatch would be the best fit for all the rest of those features that you just mentioned.
Yeah, because it's much easier. Like you port the app to like the Apple Watch instead of making it like a whole gadget.
Yeah, exactly. Because like if you were to make a standalone wearable, like the only thing that I would be worried about is rolling over a certain way and twisting my wrist in a way that pushes the button to turn off the sleep tracking. Which is why I feel like the smartwatch companion app makes more sense as opposed to a standalone wearable.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be much easier.
Yeah, though I don't know how much easier that would be because like for the Apple Watch, like that would be easy because it's a singular platform. But on the Android side of things, there's a ton of watches with different form factors and whatnot, and the
Oh
actually
yeah, there's also that. I forgot about that.
yeah, and plus when the Pokemon Company made a smartwatch companion app for Pokemon Go, that was pretty short lived. Because that came out in, oh god, like 2017, 2018, and I think it got discontinued a couple years later, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't even remember about it.
Yeah, I remember it didn't last very long, and it was an Apple Watch exclusive, so something tells me that it didn't do all that well. But then again, it wasn't like another form of the Go Plus. And I don't remember what the functionality of that was, but I feel like a smartwatch companion for Pokemon Sleep would work a lot better. Because I can imagine a lot of people like to track their sleep with their smartwatches anyway, so maybe this could be a decent alternative, but who knows if they're even interested in doing something like that,
Yeah, I feel like that could help.
Yeah, like the app itself, it's fun. I love how it looks. It's so cute.
Yeah, I love the art style. Like really good art style.
Like the Pokemon models they're adorable, but there's not a lot of Pokemon in the game to begin with.
Yeah, there's like 104, I believe.
Yeah, it's a very small number, and the newest generation that we have is 6, and it's just one Pokemon with Sylveon, as the rest of the roster goes up to Gen 4.
Yeah, I feel like I think it like for now is like a good number because there's like so many like Pokemon like sleep styles that you gotta get. So
Yeah,
it's kind of
exactly.
like
So
if they put like more Pokemon, there's like a whole ton that you gotta collect.
yeah, because like not only do they have to make the art for each Pokemon, but also um draw all the sleep styles as well as which sleep type that they would count for. I imagine that it's a lot more info that had to go in as opposed to something like Pokemon Go, for example.
Yeah, there's like a whole lot that you gotta consider.
Yeah,
So
it does sound like it would
that's
be
why I think they kind of just like they're holding on into adding like more like Pokemon.
Oh yeah. Like I imagine that they will add more Pokemon in future updates. Like, there's no way this is gonna be the final roster. Like, I imagine that. But then, like, the next couple months, we'll probably get a few more Pokemon. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we get our first batch of Gen 5 for the first content update.
Yeah, I believe it's not like the actual full roster, and they're never gonna update it again. I think they will add some more.
Yeah. So we just gotta give it time. Like, the game just came out, so we can't really judge it too harshly because I imagine that it will get better as time goes on. Because like, they're already pumping up plenty of updates to improve the overall experience, and I got to give them credit for that.
Yeah, then also like kind of like I think recently that they like updated and they added like a feature where like it can tell you if you're like cheating on your sleep, like tracking your sleep.
Oh yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was there from day one, and people were just discovering it.
Yeah, also I feel like it could be also that. Because I think this week I got like a sleep where it's just like slumbering the whole time, and I was like, wait, what? And then like I realized I was like, because I remember going to bed and then putting my phone next like on top of my bed, and then it probably like when I woke up it was like on the floor. So like I think what happened is probably like the phone just fell. Yeah, the phone fell, and then I couldn't get in like actual sleep.
Oh my
like,
god. But like, this kind of changed my morning habits as a result because normally when I wake up and turn off my phone's alarm, the first thing I check is either Discord or Twitter. But now the first thing I check most mornings is Pokemon Sleep.
Yeah, that's the first thing I do. Is like I open my phone and it's right there. I just press like stop.
Like,
stop,
it makes you want to check the app to know how much sleep you got and which Pokemon you're going to be finding when you wake up. Like, honestly, that's a much better way to start the day than checking social media.
Yeah, and then you open and you see a couple shinies and it's the best thing.
Yeah, that is true because there are shiny Pokemon in this game. I think the odds are like 1 in 1,000 if I remember correctly.
Those are not bad odds if you compare to the main game.
Yeah, no. It's not bad at all, but considering that you're not seeing a ton of Pokemon each day, then you start to realize that it is still kind of high. Actually, no, it's actually low. I gotta
Yeah,
get.
I already got a couple myself.
I know you got the shiny Bonsai yesterday. What else did you get?
Wobbuffet.
Right, Wobbuffet. Oh, right. Meanwhile, I am over here with no shiny Sag.
No Eevee either. I
have one Eevee.
Oh, you got an Eevee?
Yeah, I got an Eevee earlier this week.
Oh.
I think I was did you not see me getting excited about it like the other day?
I probably did, but I forgot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Eevee was like my most wanted Pokemon that I wanted as in terms of the available Pokemon so far. Like they don't have.
It's so funny. It was like a recurring joke. Everybody was getting Eevees apart from you.
Yeah, like I was getting so salty that everyone was getting Eevees except me. Like Honey has been getting the most amount of Eevees. Like
yeah, she was getting like two every day. Like,
and Lori finally got 2 Eevees in one morning to today.
Yeah, I got 2 Eevees today after my nap.
Really? Oh my god. And like I've seen a few people say that they've gotten the shiny Eevee on Twitter, and I'm like, I am so jealous of you right now.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool to get a shiny Eevee.
Like the shinies look really good in the game too. Like I want a shiny Eevee so badly because I kind of want to get a shiny Sylveon in that.
Yeah, I've been working to get a Sylveon, but it's kind of pain in the ass.
Yeah, plus the evolution requirements are a massive
Yeah, it's like
grind.
a lot of candies you also gotta get.
Yeah, it's a massive grind. You don't start out with much, and you get a lot. The way you can get a lot is just by sleeping a lot, for the most part. Like, I want Vulpix in this game, god damn it. Like, it's so weird. Like, they have the Gens 1 and 2 starters, but no Gens 3 and 4, which is a little strange to me. But again, they'll probably add that in later software updates, as well as potentially new areas as well.
Yeah, I feel like they'll add it in batches.
Yeah. Like, I imagine that... I could see them adding new areas at the same time that we get new Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like,
that would kind of make sense, yeah.
It's very possible. Like, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Though I will say, this game does not play well with a VPN. As I've had to disconnect my VPN just to have a stable connection because it thinks my phone is offline even though it's not. It's just connected to my VPN. So that's strange. But yeah, overall thoughts on Pokemon Sleep it's great, and I imagine it shows a lot of potential right now, and I imagine that it will get better as time goes on.
Yeah, but it was only gonna get better from here on out.
Yeah, like, in its current form, it's pretty good. And, but like, something else that's kind of funny is that, like, last week, one of my local news stations did a story on this game when it was new.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Like, it reminds me a lot of when Pokemon Go came out, when every single news station was doing stories on that game.
Oh, yeah, that gathered a lot of attention.
Yeah. So I imagine that with time, we'll probably get that the install base will only grow faster and bigger with more updates and better stability. Though I definitely like to see some improvements to the actual sleep tracking as well, because like I said, I had a friend over Wednesday night. We both struggled to sleep, and despite all the tossing and turning that I did, I still got a high sleep score, and my friend got a pretty low one.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of inaccurate sometimes.
Yeah, it can be a little inaccurate, so I imagine that we'll probably get updates to improve that, though I don't know how much of that can be improved, especially with like the Go++, but I would love to be proven wrong. Like, I know we're sounding a little skeptical of this game, but in reality, it's still, it's really good.
Honestly, yeah, like, it kind of did exceed my expectations, because I thought it was going to be, like, you know, I was always hyped for it, but, like, at one point, like, it took so long, so I was like, hey, this is kind of looking kind of difficult here. But then it kind of did exceed my expectations after. It was, like, really good beginning, and I feel like it's only gonna get better now.
Yeah, I do think that this game does have a good future in its hand. Like I feel like what helps this game the most is how easily it can fit into your daily routine, because it doesn't require your attention all the time, unlike a game like Pokemon Go. Like, you can pop in for like 5 minutes during each time of the day to like feed your Snorlax breakfast, and then feed it lunch and dinner, and then check on your other Pokemon and whatnot.
Yeah, it's like pretty simple and like pretty easy to use, and you know you're gonna use it like 100% of the times of your day. Like Pokemon Go, like you mentioned with Pokemon Go, you're not gonna like have the app open at 100% of the times and like catch a Pokemon and stuff like that. Pokemon
Yeah,
Sleep, you
exactly.
just like
But
you
then
do the things like on the day. You're just like giving like storing like food and then checking in your Pokemon, and then when you go to bed, you just turn on like sleep tracking, and then that's it.
yeah, exactly. Like, but then again, the game's not really meant to be played for long extended periods of time. So in that sense, it does a good job at that.
Yeah, it kind of like becomes more of a like a sleep tracking app than a game itself.
Yeah, and so I do think that the game does a good job in that regard. Though I do legit feel bad for the Insomniacs that aren't able to play the game all that well.
Oh yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did kind of struggle with sleep. I was getting like 4 hours, 3 hours, so like I wasn't getting good rewards. But then now like fixing my sleep schedule, I get more sleep and then I get more rewards.
Yeah, so like the game kind of feels like it's trying to encourage you to improve your sleep schedule, and it's actually doing that for some people, I guess. And I think one of the more
Yeah, I feel like it's a good tool to help people sleep.
yeah, I think one of the more interesting things about this game is when I do track my sleep, it gives you a graph of the different sleep types that your sleep could fall into. And for a good while, I was consistently getting dosing type, because there are 3 sleep types in this game. We got dozing type, snoozing type, and slumbering type. And in that sleep graph will show you the different types of sleep throughout from the data that you recorded that night. And I guess whichever type has the majority will determine your sleep type for that night. And we'll actually let you meet the Pokemon that meet that sleep type. So on one hand, it can be useful to know what kind of sleep that you would fall into, but at the same time, if there's a certain Pokemon that you want, but doesn't match the same sleep type, you're not gonna meet that Pokemon.
Yeah.
So for when I was getting a lot of dozing type nights, all the Pokemon I was getting were dozing types. So and since Eevee is, I believe, a snoozing type.
It's just snoozing, yeah.
Yeah. Since Eevee is a snoozing type, for example, I couldn't meet that until I got myself some snoozing type nights.
Yeah, I was like getting a lot of snoozing types, and then it started to like fluctuate. I don't think I ever got like a single dozing night yet, so that's kind of something. But it's been there. I've been getting snoozing and slumbering like apart, because the first week I was getting like straight just snoozing. I was like, wait, what is going on?
Yeah, I've had a majority of my sleeps so far have been dozing type with snoozing and as the runner-up, and I've actually been getting some more balanced type nights than just straight up slumbering type nights, which is kind of interesting. It was something as you go throughout your week, and you take care of your Snorlax, the more levels you raise it, the more Pokemon you can find during the week. So, while at the beginning of the week, the amount of Pokemon you find is a very small amount, if you raise your Snorlax to a really high amount, then you can find even more Pokemon each morning. So it's kind of incentivizing you to not only get good sleep, but also to take care of your Snorlax every day.
Yeah, I always like be checking up on it, which I have not been doing.
Yeah, because when I started my week on Sand Beach this week, of course, Snorlax's level gets reset, so I was seeing 3 Pokemon Tuesday morning, I'm like, oh god, I am so used to my Ultra 3 Snorlax from the very prior week, and I was seeing like 7 to 8 Pokemon per morning.
Yeah, bring me back.
Yeah. Well, that part is probably my biggest complaint, but it's something that I've already gotten used to because, like, at the end of the day, it's not a big deal because that's part of the gameplay.
Yeah, you just gotta make sure you remember to check up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you could easily set reminders on your phone to feed Snorlax and whatnot, and plus, it gives you time windows for its breakfast time, lunchtime, and dinner times. And the dinner time,
yeah, and it's like a pretty like fair like window of time. I think it's like 6 hours.
yeah, like the dinner time window especially is the most forgiving. But yeah, because of how late I wake up in the morning, I barely make it to make it breakfast because I usually wake up around 10, and the cutoff for breakfast time is at noon.
Yeah, I think like dinner is like 12 hours, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
dinner time is.
It was like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Yep, dinner time is the largest time window.
Yeah, so you can't be missing that.
Yeah, if you miss that, then you have a problem.
That's a big problem right there.
But yeah, it's been a fun game so far, and I imagine that it will get better as time goes on, as we said several times by now.
Can only get better from here on out.
Yep. And so I am legitimately excited to see where this game goes next in terms of future support. All right, so is there anything else you want to add about Pokemon Sleep before we move on?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
All right, so let's move on from that as the next Pokémon Presents has been announced as it is going to be coming on Tuesday, August 8th. This has been rumored for a good while, and what do you know? It was real. So, let's take some time to talk about our predictions for this upcoming presentation. But I think we should get the obvious out of the way first, and that is Scarlet DLC info and gameplay for Detective Pikachu Returns.
Yeah, I feel like Scarlet Violet DLC is like 100% lock-in.
That's a definite lock-in. I do think that we will get a release date for at least the Teal Mask. I'm not expecting a release date for the Indigo Disc. I'd be surprised if we did, but I think the Teal Mask is definitely getting a release date in this presentation, at the very least.
Yeah, I do believe they're gonna announce like at least a date, because like it's been like a couple months already that they announced the DLC as a whole.
Yeah, because like outside of the initial announcement back in February, the only thing that we've gotten for the DLC since then, it was back in the June Nintendo Direct. So we are high time. So we are due for more info, and I have a strong belief that we will get more info, as well as like a preview of some more Pokemon that are going to be coming back, and some of the new features that are going to be in here. Because like back in the June Nintendo Direct, they showed gameplay of DLC, but they didn't touch on like any actual features in each DLC pack. So I imagine that we'll probably get something like that for this pack, for this presentation.
Yeah, I was like, wait, they're announcing this like in the Nintendo Direct. I was like really surprised.
Yeah, like,
but I kind of do see them announcing a little bit more coming up on Tuesday. I mean, which they have to at least like a date, and they show a little bit more like features that's gonna be included.
Yeah. Although I will say, they did put out a teaser video for the announcement, and it's kind of fascinating because it's lit up in like these neon lights. Like I kind of get vibes of the Detective Pikachu movie logo, but a lot of people were jumping to the conclusion that this could have some kind of connection to Mewtwo, because like Joe Merrick pointed out that like
the first letter is like M. Like
the first letter in the Pokemon logo is the first thing that popped up. So I think that we will get something Mewtwo related at some point during this presentation, but we don't know what it could be. Like obviously it can't be Mewtwo in Pokemon Unite because it's already in that game.
Yeah, Mewtwo X is already in, and then Mewtwo Y should be coming in like shortly.
Is Mew in that game as well?
Yeah, it's been in that game since last year, I believe.
Right. Okay, so yeah, so nothing for Unite.
I don't think it was like Unite related, to be honest.
Yeah, I doubt it's anything Unite related. Like they're probably gonna open up with updates on the live service games like Unite, Go, Masters, Cafe Remix, and Sleep.
Yeah, like they usually do.
Yeah, because like this presentation is gonna be 35 minutes long. This could be one of the longest ones. So I
Yeah,
imagine.
so like they're definitely just gonna be open up with like mobile games and then like third party games and stuff like that.
Yeah. Although I do wonder how much game stuff we're actually gonna see in this presentation, considering the variety that we got back in February, with stuff like Pokemon Concierge and the TCG Classic. So it makes me wonder if they're gonna touch on either of those. Now that we know that they're interested in showing more than just video game content for their presentations.
Yeah, I do wonder what they're gonna announce more apart from like Scarlet and Violet. Like perhaps they're gonna announce like a remake of a game, like a spin off. I don't think it's gonna be a mainline game, but probably like a spin off. Or are they gonna like make a whole new game like a spin off? Like a missing dungeon, like example, like a missing dungeon, like remake or like a new game, which it's kind of a delusional take, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you are right about that being a delusional take, because if we were gonna get another big spin-off title, we would have known about it by now. Like, I think we're past that window for a new big spin-off to come out. Like, I think Detective Pikachu Returns is gonna be the big spin-off for the year, and we'll probably in 2024 will probably be a mainline game. So I highly doubt that we'll get something like Mystery Dungeon related or what have you. So I don't think
yeah, and like we don't even know like for certain like if we're actually gonna get like a new like mainline console next year as well. So that's like a lot of questions there.
Right. That's something that we can touch on next week, like after the presentation airs and whatnot, and how this affects next year. But yeah, obviously no mainline game announcement because we're getting Scarlet Battle DLC. In fact, I am not expecting any kind of like brand new game to be shown off here that we haven't seen yet. Like, I think it's just going to be updates on existing projects that we already know about.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna go out of their way to like announce something big. No, they're just gonna touch up on like things that we already know and stuff.
Like the most,
and probably they're gonna like talk about like some like show like that one TV show that I forgot, Pokemon Concierge, I think.
Oh yeah.
They're probably gonna like talk about it a little bit more and like probably talk about like some other things like not game related, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that like if they wanted to show anything in terms of new releases that they haven't talked on yet, I honestly the most I can expect is a shadow drop for the Game Boy trading card game coming to NSO on Tuesday, because that was confirmed to be coming to NSO back in February. So I imagine that they'll probably shadow drop the TCG on Game Boy NSO on Tuesday. Like, I think that's the most likely in terms of like any kind of like re-release, because I've already seen some people getting their hopes up about mainline Pokemon Game Boy games coming to NSO on Tuesday, and I'm like, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, as much as I want to, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Like, and I said it several times, like, if they are gonna do that, I don't think it's gonna be on NSO instead of being, and just have it be its own standalone release, but that's a take for another day.
Yeah, and I also mentioned this, that it's a pretty delusional thing, really delusional thing. I would love to see them pour Pokepark in, but I don't think they're gonna do that.
God, that was the dream.
Gotta believe it.
Yeah, true. But like, going back to the Mewtwo thing, like, the most that I can expect in regards to that is like, I could see this being the next 7-star raid for Scarlet and Violet. Like, if they're teasing,
yeah, like I don't even know what they want to do with Mewtwo, to be honest. Like, I don't see like a lot of things.
Like, they did a Mewtwo raid event for Sword and Shield, so I would not be surprised in the slightest if they do something similar in Scarlet and Violet, and have Mew be involved in some way, like some kind of internet distribution or whatnot. Like, I think that's the most that I can expect in regards to anything Mewtwo related. Like, they could pull a wild card and do something like a fucking Paldean Mewtwo or a Paradox Mewtwo, but I doubt.
That would be pretty funny.
I tell it's gonna be either of those, like, famous last words. But
You just see like a Paradox Mewtwo, like a robotic Mewtwo.
kind of like almost like a kind of like a neat little throwback to the first movie.
Yeah, they just put like a Mewtwo's like Iron Thoughts or something like that.
And, like, could you imagine? But, like, I highly doubt that it's gonna be like a new form of Mewtwo or a form related to Mewtwo. But I think, but like I said, I think the most I can expect Mewtwo related is the next step being the next 7-star raid event for Scarlet Violet, because that just sounds possible to me.
Yeah, I feel like that's the only thing I can think about. That now that you mention that, because I didn't even think about the raid either.
Yeah, because like I said, they did a Mewtwo raid event for Sword and Shield, and so I can see them easily doing something similar for Scarlet Violet. So if the Sword and Shield version was anything to go by, then they're probably going to make this one extra difficult in Scarlet Violet. Like, even more difficult than your typical 7-star raid.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 10-star raid.
Or, God.
That would be pretty funny.
Although, considering that the 7-star raids, I think, are the 7-star raids over 100? I forget.
Level? Their level?
Yeah, they are level 100.
No, yeah, they are level 100, yeah. So they're not gonna go above level 7.
Yeah, but like, I can still see them finding some kind of way to make this battle more difficult, like what they did for Sword and Shield. Like having it be
I don't think it's like impossible.
Like having it be so powerful that you can't catch it, like they did for Sword and Shield.
Yeah, you can only like battle it and like get rewards for it, but you can catch it.
Like it would be a difficult battle that you can't catch, but the rewards would be so good that you feel incentivized to try.
Yeah.
And I imagine that it's probably going to be something like that.
Yeah, perhaps if they do that, I like if they're not gonna make you catch, like, because like if they make you catch, they're gonna make you only catch one.
Yeah,
and then they're gonna give you like a lot of rewards, which I think
exactly.
They should do that.
Exactly. Like, I imagine that the setup otherwise will be similar, if not identical, to the past 7-star raids, where you can only catch one after you defeat it, and any subsequent attempts after that would just get you the rewards after victory.
Yeah, and then perhaps it's probably gonna be what's it called? It's gonna be shiny locked.
Yeah, it will 100% be shiny locked, no doubt about it. But I can see some kind of like Mewtwo/Mew distribution going on as well, so that way both Pokemon could get some kind of spotlight for the presentation on Tuesday. But I think, if anything, it's most likely just going to be only Mewtwo.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be like anything crazy.
Yeah, although I'd be surprised if it is anything more significant than what we're thinking of right now. But I can't think of anything else that could happen for it.
Yeah, like, there's not a lot of whole things that you can do.
Exactly. Plus, like, we just don't know what else they're gonna talk about, like, other than like Scarlet Violet DLC and Detective Pikachu Returns, because I imagine that we will get proper gameplay for that game. But I don't know what else they can show, because like like this is gonna be like 35 minutes long, and I imagine that a large majority of that time spent is gonna be on the Scarlet Violet DLC, with Detective Pikachu Returns like being spent on like in the middle of the presentation.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of features do you think they could add in the DLC?
That's a good question, because I don't even know like what they're thinking to go ahead with. They're probably just gonna like, I don't know, like add new Pokemon, and then like the new areas, obviously. Perhaps they like add a feature where like you can like check like Pokemon around you like easily.
Maybe.
I don't even know. Like, at this point, I don't even know, to be honest.
Like,
I feel like they're probably gonna announce something, but like I can't think of anything.
Yeah, like I think what I could see is like for at least the teal mask, I could see some kind of faster way to change your Pokemon's Terra type. Much like how in Sword and Shield with the Out of Armor, you can like collect Max Soup to what you give a Gmax Pokemon, Gmax possible Pokemon to actually turn into their Gmax forms when you Dynamax. So I could see something like that, but considering that we can already change our Pokemon's Terra type in the base game, I don't know how likely that is. But I could also see a faster way of collecting Terra Shards to be possible in the Teal Mask. But I could also easily see them doing that for the Indigo Disc instead.
Yeah, I hope they like introduce like easier ways to like change your Terra type because it's so annoying to change your Terra type.
It's a
all the
massive
time.
grind.
And, like you need like 50 of those, and it's like not easy to get.
Yeah, it's a massive grind, and I could see. I would also like some kind of way to quickly collect Herba Mystica, because this is gonna be on a completely different island off of the mainland of Paldea. I don't know how likely that is. Like, if anything, it's definitely not going to be in the Indigo Disc, considering that the entire area that we're going to be exploring in that is going to be an underwater terrarium. So, who knows? And
perhaps they're also going to, like, probably, like, get a little touch on the story, like, the main story of the DLC, maybe.
Yeah, I do fully expect some kind of small details for the story for each pack. And then, as for the Indigo Disc, I could see some kind of successor to Dynamax Adventures, where we can team up with other players to find a specific set of Pokemon and then use them to take on and capture legendaries.
Yeah.
Because Dynamax Adventures was probably the best features that came out of the Sword and Shield DLC.
Yeah, it was a really good feature.
Yeah, so I do hope that we see a successor for Scarlet, like Terra Adventure or something like that, or Terrasso Adventure or something. Either way, I do think that's probably been my most wanted feature of the DLC, but if the Crown Tundra was anything to come by, I think we'll have to wait until the second pack to get something like that for Scarlet Violet. In terms of Pokemon I want to see return, Vulpix is already coming back, so there's that. I want all the starters to come back, though. Like, we have a good portion of them in the game, thanks to the 7-star race that we've gotten so far, as most of them have been starters. But, like, because what trios have we completed so far? We just completed Galar with Rillaboom, so the Galar starters are in. We just got all of the Kalos starters as well. I think we still need
to get Gen 4, right?
No, Gen 4 starters are not in the game. We haven't gotten those yet. But
I think Gen 4 is the only one missing,
right? We have yet to get any of the other Gen 1 starters as well.
I mean, like I mentioned, like as a fact, like getting one, at least like one, because we got Charizard.
Yeah, we just wasn't Charizard the first ever 7-star raid?
Yeah, it was the first raid. So.
Yeah. But we haven't gotten Venusaur or Blastoise yet, and I think they're overdue to get theirs.
Yeah, they're gonna get there.
We also got Typhlosion.
There's no way they'll make it.
Yeah, we got Typhlosion as well, and Decidueye and Samurott to complete the Hisuian starters. But I think those generations should get their trios complete as well. And then we're missing Helwyn entirely, and like you said, we're missing Sinnoh. And so we're getting there. We have like, I think that puts us to like around half of the starters so far, but we're still missing a lot. And I definitely would like to see them come back for the DLC. And outside of the 7-star rates, but if anything, they're probably just going to be transferable via Pokemon Home. Like, I feel like, the starters in particular should be like the bare minimum for each mainline Pokemon game, because then they're the first Pokemon that everyone's going to be choosing in each game. It's like they're some of they're the first Pokemon you get to form memories with, and grow attached to. So I feel like it just makes a lot of sense to bring a lot of our old starters to the latest generation. Especially since most of these Pokemon have yet to even be on the Switch.
That's true.
Like, Gens 1 through 4 are already covered, as we had Let's Go, Sword and Shield, and of course Brilliant Diamond and Shiny Pearl. But like the rest of the Unova starter, like Snivy and Tepig have yet to be featured in a Switch game. Oshawott was in Legends Arceus. All the college starters are already in. All the Alola starters are on a Switch game in some form. And of course, Gowart and Paldea are on the Switch to begin with. But like, and of course the Hoenn starters are in Sword and Shield via the Dynamax adventures. So I'm just realizing that does make all the starters on the Switch in some form. They're just not. What I'm saying is they're not all in like one singular game.
Yeah.
And so I think it would be great to just have them all be available to be put into Paldea.
Yeah, I feel like it's about to happen, right?
Yeah, I would love for that to happen, and considering how many starter reigns have we gotten so far, and most of those starters have been outside of the Paldea Pokédex, I think it's very possible. Like, they're kind of building up to having all the starter Pokemon be in the game. And I do hope that comes to fruition.
Yeah, they gotta make it happen.
Yeah. Outside of the starters, you already know me, I want the Ponytail line back.
Of course.
As well as most of the pseudos that aren't in the game yet, like Dragonite, for example.
I mean, isn't Dragonite already in?
Oh wait, I'm stupid.
It's been in the mainline game.
I'm so stupid. Like, I don't know what. Oh wait, I think I was thinking of the Sword and Shield base game.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what's going on. That's what's going on. Like, it's so tough to tell which Pokemon are in the game and which ones aren't. And I don't want to look up a list of Pokemon that aren't in the game because I'd be worried about coming across a list of Pokemon that got leaked to be returning in the game. So it's better if I just go in with a surprise look on my face. Well, what are some other Pokemon that you want to see come back?
Honestly, like, yeah, they already put Dragonite in, so like I don't really care what they put in.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, I don't really mind whatever they bring. It was like, so I remember Sword and Shield was like, you're gonna have to put Dragonite in, or else I'm gonna go crazy. They didn't do it for DLC 1, so I was like, oh, DLC 2, right? And then like DLC 2, I was like, good, or else it's gonna write.
Yeah. And I do think that with any past Pokemon that also had regional variants, I think there should be some way that we can get the opposite form, like how we could do that in Sword and Shield's DLC. I do wonder what kind of collection challenge they're gonna have for the DLC as well, because, like, for Sword and Shield, we had the in its DLC we had the Alolan Diglett around the Isle of Armor, the Swords of Justice footprints in the Crown Tundra, but its Arceus was the Spiritomb Wisps, and of course in Scarlet Violet we had the Ruined Legendary Stakes. So, who knows what kind of collection challenge we're going to get for Scarlet Violet's DLC.
Yeah.
I imagine that it will probably have some kind of connection with a returning legendary Pokemon. And, like, I do think that we should get more legendaries to come back in general as well. And which is kind of why I want a spiritual successor to Dynamax Adventures, so that we have this one place catch on these legendaries, but I wouldn't mind a side quest for some legendaries like the Reggies, for example, or the Swords of Justice like we got in Sword and Shield's Crown Tundra.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of should like do like a little like mini game, sort of, like, because like in Gen 7 you had like the Ultra Wormholes, and then like Gen 8 you had like the raids, like the Dynamax Adventures, and then like they should like add a little feature that you can like find legendaries.
Yeah, so I do think that there's a pretty strong possibility that we'll get it for a third consecutive generation of having a feature that lets us go on this massive legendary hunt, and I think we'll get something similar for Scarlet Violet.
Yeah, and you can also like shiny hunt and stuff like that because they're most likely they're not gonna be shiny locked.
Well, considering that the Ultra Wormhole and Dynamax Adventures were not shiny locked, I think we can shiny hunt for the legendaries in that as well.
Yeah, that's like I feel like they're not gonna shiny lock it because like that would be kind of stupid. Right?
Yeah, it would be kind of dumb, especially if they take a while to check it, like Dynamax Adventures and Sword and Shield were. That would sting. That would really sting.
That would really really be annoying. You know?
Like
I
I
feel
think,
like a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people wouldn't like that.
yeah, like I can also, but I can see the new legendaries being shiny locked for their respective stories. Like how,
Yeah, I feel like Miranda and Gorana, they're gonna stay shiny locked for a good while.
yeah, and we probably won't be able to get their shinies until like the next generation, or they'll just be distributed.
Yeah, I feel like it's like gonna be like a distribution or something. Like there's Zacian and Zamazenta and
Yeah. Yeah, I do think we'll probably do something similar for Koraidon and Miraidon, as well as the Ruin legendaries as well, since those are shiny locked as well.
Yeah.
And the new legendaries for each pack, I think, are also going to be shiny locked as well. But I could also see, for the Teal Mask at least, at the start of each story, we can be given another starter Pokemon from a different region. Kind of like how in the Isle of Armor, we had the ability to choose a Cancer starter.
Oh yeah, and they had their Gmax form.
Yeah, and they were Gmax capable, so I imagine that we'll probably get something similar for Scarlet DLC. Would not surprise me if it's the Cancer starters again. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. We're just a couple days away from it.
That's true.
Kind of odd that they're doing it on a Tuesday, but considering that Worlds is starting the same week, it makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like they would like get out of the way before Worlds, so it had to be like after Worlds.
Yeah. So I imagine that if there's one thing that I could definitely think that will not be in the presentation is the TCG Classic, because they did mention back in February that when they announced it, that more details about it will be shown off at Worlds. And considering that Worlds is next week, it makes sense. So I don't think they're gonna spend any time in the presentation talking about TCG Classic.
Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't like do that because they already mentioned it during that Worlds. So
Yep.
they're not gonna be like, oh, we're gonna talk about TCG Classic, even though we mentioned it's gonna be in Worlds.
Yeah.
They're probably just gonna be like, or they're probably gonna be like, oh, like stay tuned for TCG Classic news and Worlds.
Yeah, I think that if anything, they're just gonna say, earlier this year, we previously said that we will be coming up with Pokemon Trading Card Game Classic, and later this week, stay tuned for more info on this upcoming product at Pokemon World Championship. So I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, just put a reminder.
Yeah. I can see some additional info for Pokemon Concierge and a solid and a hard release date for it, because all we know so far is that it's coming out in December, but
we don't have like a specific date.
yeah,
right?
we don't have a specific date for it. So I think we'll probably get something similar. We'll probably get a release date for that, but wouldn't surprise me if we don't, because December is 4 months away.
Yeah, it is pretty close. That's kind of scary.
That's crazy that I even said it out loud. But aside from that, I don't know what else I can expect. Like, I am going in with pretty modest expectations. Like, I'm just expecting Scarlet Veil DLC, Detective Pikachu Returns, and something YouTube related, and nothing else. Like, I think this could be a pretty predictable presentation, but they could always throw a curveball with some kind of surprise announcement that we don't even know that's coming. So it's like anything's on the cards, really.
I feel like it's gonna be like really chill. I don't think it's gonna be like anything crazy.
Yeah,
Because like I don't think they have like a lot to show off.
yeah, especially since with Worlds coming up so soon, they're probably gonna want to spare some announcements for like the last day of the championship.
Yeah, I feel like they're like gonna save their big announcements there. Because
Like,
they usually do that.
Like, I could easily see like a second smaller DLC trailer coming at the end of Worlds.
Yeah, I feel like that could really happen.
Like, I think, and the content of that would probably be composed of all the battle-specific features and items that are going to be new for the DLC. But aside from that, I got nothing else for predictions. What about you, Rick?
Yeah, I don't got much either. I don't think it's gonna be that crazy.
Yeah, like, I'm not expecting the most hype thing ever, but I would absolutely love to be proven wrong, but you gotta keep expectations in check. But aside from that, is there anything else that you want to add to this before we close?
No, I think it's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think so as well. So, stay tuned for my reaction for the presentation on Tuesday. And of course, next week we will give our overall thoughts on the presentation itself. So be sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on that. And if you haven't already, be sure to leave a like on the video, as that will help out a lot. But aside from that, that is going to do it for us for this week. I want to thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, through it all, we're still a family. One shitty family. Goodbye.
Woo!